Hello, great people. There's a fresh raging battle between Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan and the leadership of the Nigerian Senate, headed by Senate President Godswill Akpabio. The embattled suspended Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan wrote the leadership of the Senate that she would be resuming her legislative duties on September 4th, having served the duration of her 6-month suspension. But then, the leadership of the Nigerian Senate, headed by Senate President Godswill Akpabio, wrote her a letter saying that, well, sorry, you cannot resume because the matter of as regards your suspension is before the Court of Appeal. You took the issue to the appeal court, and because the issue is now sub judice, I'm sorry, you cannot resume. On this episode of Politics with Joshua Plug, I will be reading to you the letter of the Nigerian Senate. Then we'll be talking about man and institution and the boundary as regards the power of man over institution. Then we'll be looking at the issue between Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan and the Senate President Godswill Akpabio, and the implication of it on the Nigerian Senate, the Nigerian politics, and by extension, the Nigerian government headed by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We'll be doing all this and more on this episode of Politics with Joshua Plug, Dr. Omosholadeji. Before I tell you about man and institution, I need to tell you that this case is a case that everybody has an opinion. Every Nigerian has an opinion, either in favor of Natasha or in favor of Godswill Akpabio, or finding a middle ground. I will be telling you my own humble opinion, and I'll be giving some expert analysis in that regard as regards this ongoing issue. And I look forward to your impression as well in the comment section. Let me read you the letter that Natasha got from the clerk of the National Assembly. It reads, notice of resumption. I am directed to acknowledge the receipt of your letter notifying this office of your intention to resume sitting and other legislative duties in the Senate on the 4th of September 2025, which you claim is the date of expiration of the 6-month suspension imposed on you by the Senate. I am further directed to inform you that your suspension was with effect from Thursday, 6th March 2025, and draw your attention to the fact that the subject matter of your suspension is presently before the Court of Appeal. The matter, therefore, remains sub judice, and until the judicial process is concluded and the Senate formally reviews the suspension in the light of the court's pronouncement, no administrative action can be taken by this office to facilitate your resumption. You will be duly notified of the Senate's decision on the matter as soon as it is resolved. Please accept, distinguished Senator, the assurances of my highest regard. Yaya Danzaria, acting clerk to the National Assembly. That is the letter that Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan got. First, let me say what I think as regards this letter. When Natasha was to be suspended, she was suspended by a resolution of the Nigerian Senate. Natasha was suspended via a resolution of the Nigerian Senate. And if you look at it, the clerk, Yaya Danzaria, here is saying that he is directed to, the big question is, who is directing Yaya Danzaria? In the sense that if a decision is taken according to by the resolution of the Nigerian Senate, without the Nigerian Senate sitting officially to pass another resolution, then who is giving you the directive that you are saying you are directed to? That person itself, even if it is the Senate President, is acting ultra vires. Ultra vires means beyond powers. So that means that whoever have directed the acting clerk of the National Assembly is acting beyond its powers, in the sense that such a person have no power to be giving you directive. What is standing is the resolution of the Nigerian Senate that Natasha should either go and spend 6 months suspension, or Natasha should apologize to the Nigerian Senate, then she can be considered to resume. And Natasha decided in her wisdom that rather than apologize, she would rather serve a 6-month suspension. Having served the suspension, what is expected is for her to resume. And if you talk about the legal angle, which are we going to? As regards the legal angle, if you look at it, if you say the matter is sub judice, let us look at it. Let us flip the coin. As at when Natasha was suspended, the matter was also sub judice, in the sense that when the Senate sat to suspend Natasha, there was a case in court, and the court has already ordered that each parties should stay away from matters as regards the issue of a suspension appearing before the committee and all that. But the Senate went ahead to suspend Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. Now, you are saying that the same matter is now sub judice. The question is that as at when you were sitting to suspend her, was the case in court? Yes. So why didn't you think of the case being sub judice at that point in time? Why is it that it was when Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan now decided that oh, she wants to resume, she decided to serve the suspension despite the fact that when you started it was sub judice. Now you decide that oh, the matter is sub judice, and that is why where I come to the difference between man and institution. There is a borderline between man and institution, which I will explain to you. You see, if a man is occupying a position, that man that is occupying the position, regardless of how powerful the man is, that man have to realize that power is transient. Power is transient in the sense that Godswill Akpabio now seems to be fighting a personal war, a vendetta, a battle of ego, in the sense that Godswill Akpabio does not have right to take a resolution on behalf of the Nigerian Senate, and even at that, Godswill Akpabio should realize that there's a difference between man and institution. If you have anything against Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, you have to fight your battle with her, not to use the instrument or the institution of the Nigerian Senate to now be settling scores. If you do that in any of these Western countries, trust me, people will protest against you and you will be forced to resign. Even the judiciary would be interested in quickly hearing the case, because they know that you are trying to undermine the power. You are trying to disrespect the institution of the office that you occupy. So it is not good to use the position of your office for personal vendetta. And let us look at it from another angle. Either which way, even if Natasha resumes today, Akpabio is a winner. If Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan resumes plenary today, Akpabio is already a winner, in the sense that you oversaw a suspension despite the fact that part of our accusation is against you, despite the fact that she had altercation with you. You were a judge in your own case. You presided over a suspension instead of another person to have presided. Now she has been suspended. She tried to approach the court. The court gave a judgment that the duration of our suspension is excessive. That word alone, excessive, haven't served that particular term that the court deemed as excessive. It is humble on the part of Godswill Akpabio to have allowed her to resume. It is humble on the part of Godswill Akpabio to have avoided further drama. You see, sometimes, how strong you are is not based on how you can use your power. How strong you are sometimes is best determined by how you can restrain yourself from using your power. That's what some people don't know. How strong you are sometimes is not determined by how you can use your power. No, how strong you are sometimes is determined by how you can restrain yourself from using the power that you have. So I think that the Senate President should rethink the decision, because if Nigeria were to be a working country that the judiciary is reliable enough, definitely the matter will be heard as soon as possible, and it is better for the senator to resume than for the judiciary to make a pronouncement on the matter, and it will not be like a shame and disgrace. Imagine if the Court of Appeal sits on the matter and give an instant order that Natasha should resume with immediate effect. That would have brought about a kind of like subtle disgrace to Akpabio and the leadership of the Nigerian Senate, because as at that point in time, our resumption was forced on you. And if you say that the matter is in court, that means that temporarily you are saying that Natasha has no resumption date. That is what you are saying, because you don't know when the judiciary will hear the matter. And as it is right now, with profound respect to my Lord Justices, sometimes Nigerians cast doubt on the judiciary, because look at what is happening in the case of Rivers State, that of the suspension of Siminalayi Fubara. People thought that the Supreme Court will hear the matter as soon as possible, but the matter has dragged on. The Supreme Court has refused to hear the matter. The matter has become political rather than legal. Now, Fubara have served that suspension and have served his suspension, and this month, the 6th month that the president imposed on the democratic structure in River State will be completed. So in that light, I think that there may be some political undertone. And if you look at the way judges are selected in Nigeria, definitely you will know that the executive and the legislature, they have some form of subtle power, directly or indirectly on the judiciary. So therefore, what you are saying by implication is that Natasha has no resumption date. And looking at it from another perspective, you are representing your people in Akwa Ibom, but you are denying the people in Kogi. I think Natasha is representing Kogi Central. You are denying them representation. That itself leaves more to be desired, because the people of Akwa Ibom are not greater, are not more Nigerian than the people in Kogi. So fight your battle independently with her. Don't use the apparatus or the apparatchik of the institution of the Nigerian Senate for personal vendetta against Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. You may kind of like Godswill Akpabio. You may be hailing him, but then always remember that tomorrow you will have a Senate president that you do not like. And when you have that Senate president that you do not like, if Akpabio have set a bad precedent for using this his office, the power of his office, for personal vendetta, when that Senate president when another Senate president comes in, a bad precedent have already been set. And if you don't like that Senate president at that point in time, you would be complaining. That is why it is not good to set a bad precedent. And another thing is that issues like this is capable of causing civil disobedience, in the sense that if Nigerian Senate punish you, they say go and serve 6 months suspension, and you serve the suspension and they still say you cannot resume, and the judiciary, that should be the hope of the common man, have refused to hear your case. In fact, in terms of the judgment of members of the Nigerian Senate, the suspension, that of Justice Binta Inyako is perhaps the worst, because other judgment, that of Ali Ndume, Ningi, and other senators in the past have been explicit that, recall this particular senator. But with profound respect to Justice Binta Inyako, she chose to dance around the case. And if hope of the judiciary is missing and you are using high-handedness, that itself can cause civil disobedience. And when civil disobedience holds sway, definitely then you would bring Nigeria into a state of anarchy. If Nigeria is to fall into anarchy, it should not have the hand of somebody that is occupying an exalted office like the Senate President, the number 3 citizen of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And looking at it from another ground, like I said, it is better for Akpabio to recall Natasha than for the court to disgrace him. And Akpabio should always remember that the system, the current Nigerian system, has a way of elevating you, has a way of making you actualize your wish, whether right or wrong. But then the system also have a way of disgracing you. Learn from Abdullahi Ganduje, the Ousted immediate past national chairman of the APC. If you look at it, the current Tinubu governance system, the current structure of governance in Nigeria elevated Ganduje. He didn't have enough opponent or competition when he was to become the national chairman. The system made him actualize his wish, in the sense that he was able to make sure that Kano have 2 emirs, one that Ganduje is supporting in the person of Adubayero, one that the state government is supporting in the person of Emir Sanusi Lamido Sanusi. So the system helped him to actualize his wish, but ultimately the same system disgraced him out of office. You can see the way Ganduje was summarily disgraced out of office. So Akpabio should learn from the system. The system have elevated you. The system is helping you to actualize your wish. But then again, the system also have a way of disgracing you when it matters most. It's been an interesting time with you on this episode of Politics with Joshua Plug. Subscribe, turn on your notification button, catch up with my past videos. See you in my next video. I love you all sincerely.